Hey guys, can you guys hear me and see me?
Yeah. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you, Joe. So I don't have too much to provide information-wise. I am working a detail right now, so if I gotta run out of here, that's why. But I'll make it brief. So I know I have been communicating with Joe about some suspicious activities, and it's been great. He's been able to talk to some neighbors and provide info and stuff for me. So if you guys need things, especially since you don't see me in person, remember you can always email me, and I will promptly. You can ask Joe. I get back pretty quick.
Yeah.
If you need something. So I guess mostly I just open up the floor for questions if anybody has anything specific that they would like from me tonight or info.
Looks like Beverly has a question.
Hey, Beverly, go ahead.
Hi, yes, I live close to West Sylvan Middle School, and we've had a parking problem, which I have also filled out the form the city of Beaverton has. It's a non-emergent form for parking complaints, but the south side of West Slope Drive is a walking path. And every afternoon when parents come to pick up their kids, some of them park on the walking path in front of the no parking signs. And we actually had no parking signs placed on our short street on Southwest 80th. And I see that 81st also has no parking signs now also. Does the Beaverton police have any plans to patrol around? It's between 3:30 and 4 o'clock that we have parents with bad habits showing up.
So what I can tell you is that the parking has been a constant problem probably since the last 4 years that I've been your
Yes.
guys' NAC liaison. But I can tell you that if you route all of your questions and concerns through the City of Beaverton website, it sounds like you did that. That goes specifically to our traffic sergeant. And then if it's a parking issue, it goes directly to our community services officers. They are in charge of all the parking issues in the city. And so they work, Monday through Friday mostly, unless there's something that needs to be taken care of in outside hours. But if you route that through them and you give them the most specific information you can, so, where the problem is on what part of the street, the dates and times and hours, like if it's always on Tuesdays or it's all, days of the week, that's the best way to do that. And they can ticket vehicles if it's something that they deem to be, they're in no parking zone. With COVID going on, I think we've been trying to be as reasonable as possible without trying to jam, people up. I know they're using those sports fields for quite a few other things because things have been moved around with COVID and stuff like that. But if it is posing a problem to, your, everyday kind of movement and, if they're blocking your driveway or things like that, that's something that you can call in to non-emergency and we and a patrol officer can come up and check on it. So that's another option if it's something that needs to be taken care of a little more quickly. We also have a motorcycle patrol team, or they do traffic team. They can also come up and check for those problems. So, but routing it through them is the best way possible as far as going online and then, having a traffic complaint, it will direct it right to that supervisor. So that's what I would recommend as being the best way to deal with it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Beverly, I would just add from reading on Nextdoor that this seems to be a universal problem. There's just scores of people complaining about the parents lining up at the schools to pick up their kids. So it's not just here, but it's all over. It's a zoo on Canyon Lane at 3:45. It's just absolutely. If you're trying to get, you don't want to try to go out that way if you had an emergency.
And I think they're trying to keep people in cars and not as many people walking and things like that. So I think I don't know, I can't specifically speak to what the school's rules are with COVID, but I think I think there's a lot of probably things that are contributing to this issue. But definitely send in, if people have complaints, send it in because, squeaky wheel. Can you guys hear me? My phone is trying to do some update. But, if it's something that's, bothersome and creating, quality of life issues and frustrations, definitely let us know, because we're happy to deal with those issues that are, you know, like everyday problem. So
I think that Joe's correct. I understand they line up on West Slope Drive and down up Canyon Lane past his area. And I understand that, you know, a lot of kids need pickup. Number one, I have a complaint. Well, you can't change bad parents' habits, because one woman said to me, "Oh, I'm not parked, I'm just waiting." Okay, right in front of the no parking sign. And it's sort of this is what you're teaching your sixth grader how to drive. You know, when he gets his license, you know, he can ignore parking signs. So it's not all of them. And, you know, I get that it's kind of hard to line up to pick up your kid, but.
And if there's someone in the vehicle, I mean, likely, you know, I guess that is slightly different than just parking and leaving your car, because, you know, if police come up there, they can ask them to move along and actually have someone to contact.
Yeah.
You know, we're not necessarily going to ticket somebody unless they're unwilling to move their vehicle if they're still in it, obviously. So, yeah, I mean, I think this has been, I think, you know, having a school with quite a few kids on it and such small, you know, residential roads is like, it's just a recipe for frustration of all the people who live in that area.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions for me?
Oh,
Go ahead, Carl.
somebody posted something about a burglar being chased down in our neighborhood a couple days ago, and they had the one of your nice German shepherds running around here as well. I didn't know what part of West Slope it was at, but they were very panicked, and so I was wondering if you had any kind of update on that at all.
I don't. I wasn't probably working at that time, but I don't have any updates. I actually switched to working day shift now, so I work 6:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. So I've switched around. But if it's something you want more details, shoot me an email with the info. If you know what day it was, it's hard. If I don't have like an incident number or a time frame, or location, it's really hard to find stuff. So if you know those details, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to pull it up and get you that info.
Okay, we'll do that for next meeting, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, send me an email and let me know if you have questions. So otherwise, I mean, you know, we're holding off on events as far as things that are live. I mean, right now we're not having car seat clinics, and I haven't heard of shredding events coming back and things like that. So obviously you can go online and check our webpage for our events. There are, I know the city is hosting some kind of virtual events and things like that, but I don't really have any specific things to report as far as events go, unfortunately. Well, I'll be excited when we can have picnic at the park and things again.
Is that your office in the new building?
This actually, I am borrowing our fine chaplain's office because he has a nice quiet space to be in. So I'm sitting in here, I'm working on a detail. So usually, you know, I'm in my patrol car because I'm out and about. So, but today I'm working detail. So, but it's a pretty fancy office. So.
Yeah, no, nice
Yeah.
setting there.
Anybody else with any questions? All right, next month is our last meeting before our break, right?
Yes.
So if, again, I encourage anybody who has any specific questions, I'd love to have, you know, a whole list of things to report to you guys that you want to know about. It's mwilson@beavertonoregon.gov, all one word. M as in Michelle, and then Wilson, just a last name. And you guys are welcome to send me emails. If I don't get back to you quickly, it's probably because I'm on my weekend, but otherwise I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So those days I'll be around. So yes, please feel free to email me. I would love to have everything ahead of time so I can answer all your specific questions.
That would make sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll let you guys go then.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Officer Wilson.
Have a good night.
All right, so what do we got next? I don't see, yeah, no TVF&R. I guess Miles, just out of curiosity, it's on me to call Troy Schader from THPR&D in order to set up these meetings?
I'm here, Carl. I'm here.
Oh, there he is. Yoo-hoo. All right, THPR&D report from Troy Schader.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I've got a list of things here to run through for you. So our summer registration is open. So we're offering a large number of youth summer camps and classes and programs. So get online, check that out, and get registered if that's something you're interested in doing. We're hiring, so we're having a hard time filling some positions. So if you or you know somebody that's looking for, part-time seasonal opportunities, we're looking for people to fill those positions. So again, that's on our website. We have a whole range of things from, helping with camps to park maintenance to all kinds of stuff. So check that out. We are offering a job fair. Actually, it's tomorrow from 3 to 6. It's a virtual job fair. So if you or someone wants to tune into that, that'd be a good place to get any questions answered and find out what we're offering. Again, a lot of one-day volunteer opportunities for people if you want to get out there and stay connected to the parks. We're always looking for people to, do community garden work parties and natural area restoration projects, community and cultural celebrations, things like that. So there's a lot of opportunities there for you as well. Memorial Day, we're working with the American Legion Post 124 to support a Memorial Day event at Veterans Memorial Park. This is an annual event that we do, and it's usually a really good event. It actually gets good turnout. So yeah, keep that one on the calendar. I'd recommend checking that one out. Let's see.
Hey, so all your facilities are pretty much open now?
No, we still have, a handful that are closed. Likely won't see those start to open until after July or in July. There's a lot of factors there to go along with that. Not only with the restrictions that we've been under for so long, but it's not something that you can just turn a switch on and kind of get it open right back up again. You've got to get staff in place, and you've got to, make sure all the precautions are there. And it has to pencil out from a business standpoint as well. So, we want them as open as bad as everybody else does, but it's just got to work. But stay tuned on the website, that's going to be the best place to get, the most up-to-date information on any of that stuff. I'll certainly bring it to the meetings, monthly when something's changing, but in terms of like real-time information, the website's the best spot. The Nature and Trails Department wanted me to pass along that, the bird watching is superb right now. So especially at some of our wetland sites, Greenway Park, Commonwealth Lake, Bronson Creek Greenway, Bronson Creek Park. It's just a good time of year to check that stuff out. The spring wildflowers as well. They're in bloom, and a good place to see those would be the Tualatin Hills Nature Park, Whispering Woods, and Jordan Woods. So one last thing, we've got on May 20th, we've got a virtual community meeting about the Beaverton Creek Trail. So we've got a 1.5 mile trail alignment project that's happening there. So again, May 20th at 6 o'clock, if you're interested in learning more about that. This trail segment connects the West Side Trail at the Nature Park to Cedar Hills Crossing area. So not necessarily in the neighborhood, but it's a project in Beaverton. And if that's something you want to learn more about, the opportunity will be there. That's all I've got, unless you guys have any questions for me.
I got one.
Yep.
Are any of the job openings involve just riding a lawnmower like Forrest Gump? That's what I want, baby.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, some of those do.
will. Well, cool. Anybody else got any other questions for Troy? All right. Well, thanks for coming by, man. We
Yeah, you
appreciate
guys
it
have
very
me.
much.
Appreciate you having me.
All right. See you next month. Cool. All right. So THPR&D, TVFNR, BPD. Miles, are you going to be the representative for a city of Beaverton update?
Yeah, I don't have a lot. The ones they sent me are mostly expired, but the city manager is down to 2 finalists. There's information on the city's webpage, beavertonoregon.gov/city manager. One of them has worked primarily in California, and the other one has worked in Oregon, including Tigard and Klamath Falls, I believe. So the city council will be making that appointment sometime this summer. We still have free tax help available through Cash Oregon. They'll be offering services through Thursday, July 15th to Beaverton residents. The tax deadline was yesterday, but they still have assistance for other tax filing issues that may come up. And you can make an appointment at cashoregon.org. The city council is moving to a 6 p.m. start time instead of 6:30 during the current state of emergency, starting with the May meetings. And back on May 4th, City Council had a roundtable to discuss their council priorities, the school resource officers program, and some other topics. And you can view all those online at the website. I think those are all the highlights I have.
Speaking of which, today was election day, right?
It is, yep. They haven't released any numbers yet.
But there was the one city council seat that was up.
Yep.
And I'm trying to remember what else, because I voted last week already.
Beaverton School District, but that's not you guys.
But we don't get that part of on our ballot.
Yeah, Portland Community College.
See, that's a whole thing I didn't figure out. Terry might know. And
Yeah,
then-
I do. I'm in their district. Oh,
So you got to vote for Portland Public School people? Or vice versa? Did you get to vote
Beaverton.
for Beaverton?
Yeah, I'm in Portland Public School. So I'd say the turnout has been abysmal.
Hmm.
So we have, I think out of my 65 voters for my neighborhood leader, 14 people have voted so far. Thank you, Beverly. But it's, yeah, there's not going to be a lot of people voting in this election.
well, they've got 35 more minutes.
Yeah.
Well, when I got my ballot, I read that position 3 on, well, I don't want to hold up Miles too long, but position 3 on the local water board had no candidates. So my wife and I wrote me in, so I might win with a landslide of 2-0.
Pretty small
Yeah.
water district.
Somebody was running, I saw it after I sent the ballot in, but somebody was running a write-in campaign, so they'll probably not going to take many votes to win. So Carl, you may be out of luck.
I'm denied. Oh, well, that means you got me for at least till next fall.
Yeah, one guy put his name out there on Nextdoor.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he's totally qualified. Anyway,
I think he was actually.
He had a pretty good resume.
Yeah.
okay, well, speaking of Terry, here's how about a BCCI report?
Yeah, let me give a couple of topics for a quick update. I remember last month we discussed traffic calming, And at this point, the BCCI subgroup on traffic calming, the traffic calming review group, they are still collecting information from all of the other NACs, and they will be compiling it into a report that will be presented to the Traffic Commission at their next meeting. And they meet on the first Thursday of the month. So that ends up being June 3rd and they meet at 7 p.m. and they're still on Zoom. So if anybody's interested in checking out what the Traffic Commission does, and if they're particularly interested in traffic calming and what neighborhoods throughout the city think about the program and recommended changes, tune into the Traffic Commission. Or if you're passionate and you have some thoughts, please write a letter to the Traffic Commission and send it to Miles at the neighborhood mail box, and he will forward it along to the Traffic Commission so they can understand where we sit with respect to traffic calming in our neighborhoods. Another topic that is not technically in our NAC, but definitely will influence us as we go out and about on Beaverton Hillsdale Highway, that there's going to be another Zoom meeting regarding the proposed in and out burger that is being proposed on Beaverton Hillsdale Highway, right next to the new Chick-fil-A, right down the street from Target. And for some reason, they're having another meeting. They had a meeting before, they call it a pre-application neighborhood meeting. They had one last December. They're having another one this on May 20th, this Thursday night, 6 p.m. If you go by the site, you'll see a sign that indicates how you sign up or how you log on to this Zoom call. So anyway, that's been quite a buzz on Nextdoor as well.
And Terry, I'll just mention that that's in the county. That's
That
not
is
a
in the
city.
county. That is not a city project. Yes, correct. Thank you. And just kind of this third topic is just a kind of following up on something that again was a Nextdoor buzz, but it was in our NAC, and that was that funeral home that was proposed down at the bottom of the on 87th across from the post office.
Yeah.
And what that was the apparently a funeral home is not a listed use anywhere in the Beaverton code. And so this Holman's, actually, they're a well-established business, wanted to locate a funeral business at the old doggy wash place. And because it wasn't in the code, the director of planning made an interpretation, and they said that this funeral business, as described by the Holmans, would be appropriate in that zone district. However, a lot of people, and including especially a neighbor, disagreed with that conclusion by the director, and they appealed that to the city council. And the city council heard that appeal just a couple of weeks ago. And they actually overturned the director's decision and concluded that that basically funeral homes, that they should go research and do a more thorough job to determine where it is appropriate for this type of use to be located. So, and meanwhile, the Holmans withdrew their application. So, Carl.
Well, I thought the major beef was that it was going to be a crematorium, not necessarily just a funeral home where you could come do your final respects. They were going to kick some stuff up out of the chimney.
And that was what the neighbor specifically cited. And they, you know, Holman said they were not going to have a crematorium there, but people really felt like it was the proverbial nose under the tent and a way to get in us, you know, to a location and then start expanding their uses. And I guess that resonated with city council. So that's why City council said, no, it is not an allowed use in that zone. I think it was called community service, commercial is that zone. And they just sent the planners back to go conduct more research. So anyway, I just thought if anybody was curious about what happened with that site and that use, basically it's not going to go there, and the zoning will not entertain a future funeral use if somebody wants one there.
Terry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is anybody else applying for any of these other, do you know anything else about like the old fire station there at the bottom, or the Caribe Club, or do you know anything else?
I do not. Now, Carl, on the other hand, don't you receive all of the applications that are filed for West Slope, in West Slope?
9.
No, okay.
Well, that's no in German.
Okay. Well, Kent, just FYI, if you're curious, all development applications that are 2s and 3s that are filed about in the city are arranged by neighborhood. So you can actually click on, through the neighborhood office, you can click on West Slope. No, is it through the neighborhood? No, it's through the development office, I believe. Isn't that right, Miles? Yeah, okay. So you can go to, like Beaverton Development Department, and it'll have development actions, and then it'll have it by NAC listed.
Oh, really?
So you can click on West Slope and it'll tell you. And we'll have this director's decision. And it may actually link to the city council appeal. I think it does, actually. That's where I found it.
So they do that all the time? They have a list of all the candidates for every NAC?
No, not candidates. These are development actions that are proposed.
No, that's what I mean. Development actions per NAC.
Yes, it's organized by NAC.
I think you can sign up for it to get email notifications by NAC too.
Yes.
So if you're curious, you just sign up and you automatically get all of the development proposals by email.
Well, mightn't that be something we should talk about? I mean, that sounds worthy, especially.
Well, it sounds like you should do a little more research there, Kent. Because the fire station still is way up. It's got a big for lease sign on the front of it. Okay.
It's got a big what on
The
it?
other property you were curious about, though, the Caribe's got the same gig. No one's moving in yet. So therefore, there's no reason for anybody to get a notification from the city yet until that site has been bought. And if you recall, 2 years ago, the guy came in that wanted to make that fire station a brew pub, and he came by our meeting and presented all he wanted to do, and he got denied.
Shut down.
Somebody else bought the place. Okay, so that's why I haven't gotten any notifications, because there's no action right now.
Okay.
The last 2 applications were for Holman's and for West Sylvan Middle School. So nothing else has come into the city since then.
What do you mean West Sylvan Middle School?
The
The-
athletic
Athletic
field.
field, Kent.
Oh,
2 years ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that goes without saying. Okay.
And you have to realize that
Your house.
not everything ends up being something that we receive notice. For example, if you notice, there's that one restaurant right at the end of the that little shopping center by the Wadsworth here. It's turning into a Mexican restaurant, and it was a cafe before.
Yeah.
Those kind of tenant changes don't even
Got
result
the
in,
bakery across the street.
It's not a bakery, is it?
well, it used to be.
Oh,
And then
no,
it was a cafe, and now it's going to be a Mexican restaurant. But that's an example of a use where it's a tenant finish, and so we don't even get notice of that.
Exactly.
Huh.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, great. Thank you, Terry. That was great.
Hey, Terry and Miles, I have a question.
Is Lili
Yeah,
still here?
go ahead.
Could I ask a quick question just to follow up on that last one? And this is really to Terry and Miles, and perhaps you don't know the answer to it, but I was just curious, when someone asks to extend a permit that the city council or the planning department has given, does that go on that same notification, or is that a different notification process, or do we just never even hear about that?
That should be an application that would be filed. So we should receive notice of that and an opportunity to comment.
Okay, because the reason I'm asking is like the West Sylvan thing, they had a 2-year permit. 1 year is about up. If they get close to the second year and ask to extend it, I'm just curious if we'll get an automatic notification or if it just kind of goes under the radar. But it sounds, Terry, like we would get some kind of notification.
With that level of permit, we would the planning commission might actually have to act on it, or at least staff. It would be at least a staff decision.
Okay, thank you.
That would be subject to notice and comment.
Thank you.
Subject to old business. Can we move on, please? Is Lili Bettencourt still on board with us? Lili.
I'm here.
Oh, there she is. Okay, great.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Lili with ODOT, and I'm here with Jessica Bull from JLA, and we're both here to talk about the paving project that has started on Sunset Highway. We were here back in December, letting you know that it was coming, and now it's here. The contractor has started work, hasn't started the paving work yet. I'm sure you've probably noticed that, but there's a lot of work that has to happen at the ADA ramps at the ends of the on and off ramps from 26. And so this paving project is from Sylvan Interchange to Cornell Road. And the contractor expects to start the nighttime paving in mid-June. So just a few more weeks, and then the actual paving will begin. They have to wait for the weather to get warmer and the temperatures, for the temperatures to get warmer and for the pavement to be dry. So whether it is a weather dependent work, it will happen, but it may not happen in mid-June if it happens to be a rainy stretch. But starting then, there will be nighttime lane closures, nighttime ramp closures through the end of August for that paving. It's going to take them about 45 nights to complete that paving between Sylvan and Cornell Road, and then many of the on and off ramps as well. And then striping, the permanent striping will be put down in September, also at night. So any of the work that requires lane closures or ramp closures will happen at night. There have been some daytime shoulder closures on the highway, and then some of the sidewalk curb ramp work does require some like local street like Murray and so forth, lane closures, and that can also happen during the day. But anything on the actual highway will happen at night. So they're also going to be doing some bridge work, and they're going to be doing a couple of other things like the ramp from 217 to 26 West. They're adding a high friction surface treatment to that. That will be after they pave, which is, it's almost like, the engineers probably wouldn't like it if I described it this way, but it's almost like adding sandpaper a little bit to the road surface. So there's more friction, and it's kind of, that ramp really has quite a curve. So it helps reduce some of the, slipping and sliding that happens sometimes on that ramp especially when it's wet. So that will happen. They're adding some rumble strips to the shoulder of 26, and I think in the whole section, and that helps alert you if you're departing your lane. So there's things like that are happening in the project as well as the paving. And once they finish the striping in September, they're going to spend another couple months just wrapping up some of the punch list work, as they call it, the things that didn't quite happen or work out during the construction that they have to go back and take care of. And then by the end of the year, the project will be wrapped up. So we're just on the brink of seeing some real activity out there. But if you're a daytime only driver, you shouldn't experience any traffic impacts.
What time does it start?
What time did the traffic impact start?
Yeah, what time of the evening?
Let me see. I have it right here. So we can close one lane as early as 8:30 p.m.
Okay.
and two lanes starting at 10 p.m. And then they have to open by 5:30 in the morning, but they can open later on the weekend mornings, on Saturday and Sunday mornings. So weekday mornings, all lanes open again by 5:30. And that those are similar times for if we have to close ramps, on or off ramps at night. Those can start as early as 9 p.m. And again, need to be reopened early in the morning, weekdays by 5 and a little bit later on the weekends.
Okay.
So it'll be dark, pretty much.
So when they're doing the paving itself, they're only gonna do eastbound first maybe, or eastbound one lane, eastbound next lane, and then westbound other lanes. And where will they divert the traffic? Up here at Sylvan in order to go down Shoals or hit the Canyon Road?
To answer your first question, I don't know the sequencing, what their plan is, if they're gonna go eastbound first or westbound first, but they typically do one lane in one direction and then go back into the other lane. But I haven't heard what their sequence is for this particular project. In most cases, there'll be one lane open on 26. So the most that they're going to close is 2 lanes, and then all traffic will be funneled into the one remaining lane. There'll be a couple of instances where they do have to close all 3 lanes, but it's only going to be between interchanges. So they'll divert cars off at the off ramp, and the section will be closed between the off ramp and the next on ramp. And so cars will be diverted off and then it is right back on, and then they'll get to close that section in between. But they're not expecting detours. As far as ramp closures, they will be detoured to the next available interchange. I don't have the specific ramp detours. I don't know what the specific ramp detours are, but generally they'll send them off to the next interchange.
Cool. Sounds like you're trying to work as best you can to keep down the noise and congestion and everything.
Yeah, there's, we have a noise variance from the city of Beaverton, and there will be some noise, some nighttime noise. It's when they're doing the grinding and with the paving, with the rolling machines. But we're not expecting anything unusual. Like it's sort of typical construction, it's typical project. And we should be in and out. It's a moving operation, so it shouldn't be camped out really too much. The bridge work will have a little bit of that extra work that's concentrated in one area, but in general, the work will be a moving operation. And I'll send you here on the chat. I've got the, oh, it didn't make it into a URL, but anyway, let me do that again. I realized I didn't send it to all the attendees. This is the website for the project. And I'll put my contact information in the chat as well. On the website, we're updating that weekly with the expected traffic impacts for the following week. There's also a way to subscribe to our e-newsletter. We're not doing those every week, but we'll do them periodically through the summer to give updates on where we're at. So it's a good place to check and see what's going on. And I'll also put my contact information in here. So if you have any questions about the project, you're welcome just to contact me directly, give me a call or send me an email and I'll respond.
So that'll let us get to follow along with the progress? Yeah.
And you'll see it too when you're out there. You'll see the nice smooth road.
I'll hear it and smell it.
Question.
Yeah.
Are they going to have those really super bright lights on? I mean, or will that be concentrated maybe on the interchanges, or are they going to have those, those
Like,
big globe lights they have?
Yeah, I mean, when they're working at night, they do, as they move along, they are going to have the lights to see what they're doing. And but it moves along with the paving rollers and with the grinding machine. But they will have the lights on as they go through.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, but I just want to give a big shout out to ODOT for coming through and helping with some of the ODOT property that had gone really overgrown in an area by my house. So this is like personal for me, but it also affects the rest of our neighborhood. And they did a great job. Those guys came down from the yard up at Sylvan, and they had some time one afternoon and they took care of everything, man. They really wiped that thing out and they did a great job.
Oh, good. I will pass it along.
Cool.
Yeah. I can also give a brief update on the Highway 217 project. I know I talked about that. I'm not going to give the whole presentation because I think that I see a lot of the same faces, but I'll get the web address out in the chat as well. But we do have our big Highway 217 project starting around the end of this year. We'll start construction and it will go on for 4 years. So the 217 project, the 26 paving project should be done before the 217 project starts. So they're not going to really overlap.
So we can have you back in November maybe, or October?
The start?
Okay.
Yeah.
How about December?
It's hard to know. It depends how long it takes the contractor to kind of get going. But it could start as early as November or December of this year. And that's a 4-year project, all sorts of traffic impacts, all sorts of lot at night, not all at night. We're going to see some daytime impacts on 217 and we're going to have some extended ramp closures, some extended bridge closures. It's going to be really messy. So I'll put the website.
It sounds like Max will get a lot more riders on their line down to Wilsonville.
Oh, Wes, yeah. I mean, we're certainly encouraging that. So there's so many moving parts in that project. It goes all the way from Beaverton Hillsdale Highway down to 99W, and lots of work in between. And I'll put the web address in there. We're trying to get as many people as possible to sign up for our e-newsletters and to visit our websites because our goal is not to surprise people. There's going to be a lot of traffic impacts, but the fewer people we can surprise, the smoother it'll go. So we're trying to just spread the word as much as possible so people can get tapped in and get their information and know how to find it and kind of come along with us so they know what to expect when they get out there. So I'll put that in the chat. Those are the 2 main things in your area. Any other questions?
Joe, sounds like we're good for now.
Well, thanks for having us. And if you, Carl, you know how to find me. So, feel free to get in touch if there's questions that come your way, or if you want us to come back and visit your NAC in the future.
Cool. Thank you, Lily. You did a great job.
Okay, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks.
All right. That was Lily. She did a good job. All right. Do we still have a quorum? Joe's still here. Chris is still here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a quorum. So before anybody splits, there was one thing I wanted to vote on. What was it? Oh, our old question of changing our meeting day.
Why were we doing that again?
We want to change to Thursday because Tuesdays, for instance, today, not only is there an election, but it's also a city council meeting with the new mayor. So none of the city council members or our new mayor can make it to one of our meetings because they always meet on a Tuesday, just like we do.
How about the city manager?
And there's that part too as well. So if we change over to Thursday, we can get city people actually involved in our meetings.
We have to change all the signs then.
Well, that's back when we go back to pressing the flesh.
Well, I know, but Miles would have to change all the signs.
Well, that's my other question for Miles. You still there?
Yep.
Okay. My question is, since all these meetings have been recorded and broadcast, does that mean is that like qualify as certified minutes?
No. We need regular minutes, but we might have some temporary help this summer go back and do minutes from the videos. And then,
In other words, if we were about to vote on, working on changing our meeting night in case it gets approved, that would come through on the video, and somebody else, like you just said, one of your interns would put that down as minutes and interpret the video that we're making right now.
yeah,
Okay. Well, who else wants to move their meetings to Thursdays? We'll do one more next month on a Tuesday, and then we'll start Thursdays in the fall.
In hopes of having those people coming intermittently.
Well, I think by September, I think we'll all be there in person.
Well, yeah.
I'm getting my next shot next week. I mean, speaking of which, I was going to bring that up in a second. Already got my first shot. I'm getting my second one.
That's a good question. I mean, what if West Sylvan tells us no?
Well, hey.
But Tualatin Hills Fire and Rescue tells us yes.
Well, no, I'm supposed to have the principal of West Sylvan showing up at 8 o'clock. Cross my fingers.
For which meeting?
8 o'clock.
Wait, the principal's supposed to be here at 8 o'clock? I can't believe that.
No,
She
said they did
promised?
their best. I've been trying to get a hold of her for a couple of months, but their office hasn't been open at all.
So
Now
you,
they're suddenly open because they've got regular school Tuesdays and Thursdays.
so you got a hold of her then?
Yeah, well, no, I got a hold of her secretary.
Yeah, I tried and I couldn't get her.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll see if she, excuse me, Dr. Konerski, right?
Oh,
Well, you didn't even know her name?
no, I just said the principal.
Well, actually, Thursday would work for
Anyway,
me.
going back to it before we lose our quorum, does anybody else support switching our meetings from Tuesdays to Thursdays?
Yeah, Thursdays would be fine for me.
I support that.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine.
Can I ask Miles whether this neighborhood office can support another Thursday meeting?
Oh,
I'll have to check. I think so.
Okay, because I think there are several NACs that already meet on the third Thursday.
Yeah, the fourth Thursday would be fine. The third Thursday I'll have to check, and definitely not the second Thursday.
okay.
Oh,
So the fourth Thursday. All right. So
That would
I'm
be-
gonna do, we'll talk a little more about that. I'll talk with Miles a little more about that also, and we'll bring it up again and take it for a vote next month.
okay, but here's another thing. We have to consider what West Sylvan Middle School is fine with too. Because they might have the library or the cafeteria booked on Thursdays for all we know.
Well, then we'll get that little side room like they gave us that one time.
Or a closet, yeah. I want to get a promotion back to the library, damn it.
Hey, we can always go back to the fire station. They're not, like I said, they're not doing anything down there. Every time I drive by there, there's nothing in the parking lot. There's no cars, nobody.
Hey, what do you say we try to have a meeting in June then? A live meeting?
Because I'm not getting my shot until next week, and I have to wait 2 weeks after that to be fully.
Well, that'll be
vaccinated.
fine. You'll still be,
It's pushing it, man. No.
oh, it's not pushing it, you whiner.
Gotta do one more of these.
All right.
And the next one, sit on a stool instead of your couch. Okay. So we'll put that off until
So it's-
another discussion and vote and more information is acquired between now and, what is it?
Terry's got
June
something to say.
15th, June 15th. And I think all the kids are gonna be out of school anyway, and even if they were in school, that building would be closed, and I think TVFR hasn't gone off not being closed yet. They're not opening up their public buildings because not all of them have been vaccinated yet. So
I don't know.
it was a good thought, but we've got to wait a few more months. All right, so that's it. Let's see. So everyone's got shots?
Yes,
Oh, yeah. Jill and I were one of the first ones.
Oh,
I
excellent.
got
Well,
my
you have
second
to
one
because
in
you're-
February.
right?
Yeah, I got mine in January.
Both of them?
Well, I've got to go look at my card. No, the first one in January, second in February.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, if anybody wants to know, you can just walk in right now at Fred Meyer, no problem.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, here's a good one, since Miles is still here, pardon me. The ladies from the Eden Gardens did get the $200 out of our account in order to keep them going and, you know, get some more manure or whatever it is they buy. But they couldn't get a matching grant from the city
Why not?
due to the fact that they did get quite a bit of money last year. But my question for Miles is, if they want more from the city, does that apply to a fiscal year or the calendar year? Because it's been about a year since they got their nice check last year, so therefore they could, you know, put together another matching grant request in order to get more money from the city as well, in order to have enough in their account to like stay viable for a couple of years, seems to me.
Yeah, they could apply again. The NAC would have to vote to support it. And pay the money up front, and then I'd pay the NAC back.
Okay. I'll
Okay.
let them
So
know.
I had a question about that. I think since we've been supporting them, it seems to me that in order to promote the MAC a little bit more, it'd be really super if we could get a sign down there that said supported by the West Slope NAC.
What a good idea.
Yeah, I like that too. Excellent.
Right there on the big road on Canyon.
Yeah.
And I say Miles pays for it. That'll be perfect. Make it real pretty.
We'll just make it another sandwich sign. We always get
No.
those whenever we
No.
want.
It's got to be pretty.
All right.
Needs to match the decor.
Yes. Put flowers on it, maybe. I don't know.
So Miles, would
Yeah.
that be a matching grant kind of a project?
Yep.
Okay.
But how about the sign, though? Can we do the sign?
Well,
Yeah, put it in the same grant.
Oh.
we supply the labor to install the sign at, what is it, 25 an hour or whatever you guys give, we're in.
Yeah. I'd have to check and make sure a sign's allowed right there.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
But I would
Well,
take care of that.
They have a sign on the plot, so.
They do, yeah, that really professional sign that was made by whoever. But yeah, that one's good.
I just thought something
Miles
underneath
said-
that supported by West Slope NAC would be good.
Good idea.
Yeah, it could hang underneath it.
There you go. I like that one too.
Or over it.
Or
We're over it.
Yeah. As sponsored by the West Slope.
Yes. Not sponsored. We got to get a better word than sponsored.
Supported.
Even,
Okay, so there's that.
yeah, supported.
Is Principal Dr. Kinnersley here by any chance?
No, Carl.
Okay. Well, you know, there's a queue. See that little blue button up in the right
And
hand?
Miles would tell us.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay, so we got, Corey, there was something else. We got change meeting tonight. Oh, yeah. Anybody else getting a bunch of hummingbirds lately? I've got a bunch of feeders up, man. I'm getting a million of them on my, up here. They love it. All you gotta do is, 1 cup of sugar, 4 cups water, boil it, throw it in the feeder, man. They love it. Okay, calendar. Oh, yeah. And the last one is we had a group called Ridwell
Well, that's right.
that they're recycling. They're separate recycling from what John and Dawn take. It's that those little white boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say Ridwell.
Are they, wait, are they the one that clean it out and make it smell good too?
What's that?
No.
Oh, that's another company.
Oh, no. Oh, that was, yeah, no, that was the guy that wanted to clean out. Yeah, he wanted to hard blast your can.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
his timing was bad. But Ridwell's worked out quite well for me. This week, I mean, they're not coming by this week, but last week, they take a huge burlap bag of whatever fabric you can stuff in there. And they take old light bulbs, especially CFLs, even if they're broken, batteries. And this week's special one is, oh yeah, old phones. Like this one's not old yet, but it will be.
That is old right now,
Yeah,
Carl.
I actually put in my an old computer monitor in there and fit in the bag, and they took it. So it's worth it. They recycle it all. They're a good company, so I
Yeah,
recommend
they're
them.
starting to, they'll be
Get
taking
paid for it.
plastic film also. So, and all the like egg cartons and clear
Oh.
containers. So, yeah, we signed up also and they've been good.
Cool.
They're having a special this week for $1. You can fill up a bag of the #1.
Exactly.
Nobody takes #1, so it's really nice. For $1, you can fill up a bag of your
Yeah, what do
clam.
you call those things, man? It's like
It's the
egg,
most common clamshell.
yeah, clamshell. That's it. You can fill up a bag of clamshells for $1. I mean, I hate throwing those things away because you know they're just gonna end up in the ocean. All right. Okay, what else? Eden check calendar year. Okay, Ridwell. Might change out the 4th Thursday. All right, old news. Okay. New news. Like I mentioned, ODOT did come in and clean out that property right by where Kent and I live. They did a
Yeah.
great job.
Hmm.
Oh, and the fun part is that property right behind my house, you know, this is more personal. Everything they tore out, I think it was 2 years ago, and they just like laid it out to the bottom. There was nothing left. It's all grown back. You could barely see my truck anymore. Because they didn't take any roots out and they didn't, you know, grind any stumps or anything. Everything just came right back. But it's a nice place. It's just rather dark back there, but the birds and the squirrels and the bunnies dig it. Anybody else have any bunnies?
We have a few.
I got the south side and I got the north side group. I love it. I call my house Watership Sideways.
Watership.
If anybody gets that,
Yeah, we get it.
Watership down or Watership up, it's Watership
Yeah.
Sideways.
We got it.
All righty. All right, well, if that's it, no new news. Oh, that's why I was hoping the principal would show up and maybe we'd get a little bit of an update on the, the athletic field down there, you know, what PPS is gonna do down the road, but they don't even know when the kids are, you know, gonna be back to school full time, so I think they have a lot more on their minds these days.
Well, they already said for fall, Guadalupe Guerrero.
Well, they're going for September for sure.
That's what he said.
All right. Does that
Yeah.
affect your children?
Well, yeah, my son will go back to Wilson, oh, sorry. Ida B. Wells, where my son goes.
Oh, okay.
He chose not to go to Lincoln.
Okay, but so he's out of middle school.
No, he's in high school, yeah.
All right. So all the middle schoolers, the little kids running up and down my street right now.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll be interesting. So I'll see if we can get her for next month,
Yeah.
but I'm sure she's kind of busy because like I said, if I'm not mistaken, that West Sylvan Middle School just opened up just 2 days a week right now, Tuesday, Thursday.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what.
No, it's 4 days they have hybrid. They have it Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday hybrid.
Oh, okay, so it's 3 days a week now?
4 days.
Four.
Four. So that's where all the traffic's coming in that the gal was here at the beginning of our broadcast tonight, was talking about. So now it's 4 days a week with the soccer moms lining up because they don't want their kids on a bus.
Good point.
Well,
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic when the school's out.
as we all know.
Yeah. So I will not be here next month. I'm climbing down in Southern Oregon. That week.
Hey, I thought you retired, man.
No, I'm still working on the 100 highest peaks. So it's a race between accomplishment and decrepitude. So
100 in the world?
Oregon. Just
Oregon. Okay, that explains Southern Oregon. Yeah.
Cool.
100 highest peaks in Oregon. Wow.
Does the one in our neighborhood up there going up to the transmission towers up there, does that count as a peak?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
100. Wow.
You talking Council Crest here, or are you?
No, that doesn't count either. No,
That's good.
I think there's a few that are like 7,900 feet, but that's those are the lowest one. Actually,
7,900.
Three Finger Jack is number 100. So
Is that right?
yeah.
That's
That
down
seems
there
like a tough one.
by Corvallis, right?
No.
No, it's on
Sandy
off of this
Kind of
south
by
of
Hoodoo.
Jefferson,
Yeah.
Where?
south of Mount Jefferson.
It's right,
Okay.
right by the Sandy M Pass. You see it
Yeah.
when you're going over there.
Okay, yeah. All right.
I was on the Big Island, Hawaii, and I was staying at a campground right on the ocean. And I drove my truck all the way up to Mauna Kea in time for lunch. And
Yeah.
I had to stop and change the carburetor 3 times, to ease off. And once you get up there, you can only hang out for like 20 or 30 minutes. You start getting headaches because of the lack of oxygen.
Yeah, that's actually one of Phyllis's state high points too. So
Oh,
yeah, and then you can drive that. It's just a short walk up to the actual summit. But to do Mauna Kea on the other side is a full day hike.
Exactly.
It's very cool. Huge caldera.
Huge caldera.
All righty. Well,
All right.
let's try one more time. Dr. Kinnersley, did you happen to show up? Are you on my queue list over here? Doesn't look like it. That's Kent. He's not a doctor. Okay. But he plays one on TV. Okay.
You're full of humor tonight, aren't you?
All righty, great. Well, that was a good meeting. I'm glad everybody showed up, almost everybody. And so we'll hear from Lili again in the fall after. We'll see what happens with